You ready to be a star?
No, don't make me sweat.
I'm not going to make you sweat. It's a yin class.
I'll panic. I will panic.
Something. There we go. There's always like a plant in front of my screen.
Don't really give. Just tell me when you want me to give us.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm opening the room. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm using a new mic setup, and so I hope y'all can hear me. If you can't, please let me know. Thank you for being here. I'm Raina. This is a yin flow class. And I guess before I get into that, this is my partner who, if you've been to class with me and my partner before, we affectionately call him the Green Wizard. And we're very lucky to have him here tonight. I hurt my back, and so he's going to be moving. And yeah, I always like to have another body here because it just allows us to see more options, different ways to get into things. And with that said, since I am able to really focus on just the teaching and not getting myself into postures, we're going to try a few more involved yin postures tonight than I would usually be able to offer. And so with that said, dog toys. With that said, for tonight's class, I do recommend having a strap. And if you don't have a strap, that's okay. Grab like the longest belt you have, a thin towel or blanket, because we're going to be doing some hamstring work on our back, holding our foot with some kind of support. And so strap would be ideal here, especially a big one, so that we can explore even more restorative options. But if you don't have that, no worries, just something that extends your arms so you can really rest towards the ground. The second thing, sorry, you see me walk close, I'm just letting people in. The second thing I do recommend having is some kind of a chair or a stool, or even your couch kind of nearby, because we're going to be reclining back onto these things. And so having something like that nearby will be helpful. And if that's just not possible, get as many pillows as you can, because it's going to be really essential for the comfort of a couple, just to be able to really modulate how close the ground is to you. And so that's really the purpose of the chair couch support. Things may feel a little clunky getting into them. That's fine. That is like yin, that is yoga, that is just how we move. Doesn't necessarily have to be about style. It just is about what's feeling good, what's feeling right. We'll get started in just another 2 minutes. And class will end just at the hour mark of wherever you are. So for me, it will end at the 7 o'clock mark. And I'll leave a little time, just a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions, you're always welcome to ask. But otherwise, that's really it. Cool. So put some music on, get some smells going. It is a much slower class. And so it's nice to have things to help keep you anchored to your practice. Do you want any other blankets or anything? Or are you feeling good? Okay, cool. I'll put this at a foot distance. And then when you're ready, you can set yourself up laying down on your backs. And that is where we'll start class. Head down here. Cool, so just set yourself up really comfortably on the ground. If you'd like some support for your lower back, put a blanket under there. You can also have your knees bent if that feels more comfortable for your lower back. And once you get down to the ground, also locate that strap kind of apparatus that you're using and just have it next to you. You don't need to be holding it. We're not using it quite yet. We just want it easy to find. From there, let your eyes close, your gaze soften. And let's just take a little time to arrive. Taking your space in. All the externals, so the sounds and the smells of your environment, the temperature of your space. And just starting to integrate your space into the container for your practice. But with that, all those potential distractions, maybe they're happening, maybe you might anticipate them, but just bringing them into the fold and kind of shifting the frame from distraction to an invitation to remain more present. And then just letting your awareness slide a little further in, coming to your breath. And starting right at the tip of the breath. So when you inhale, making note of those same kind of sensations, the temperature, the pace of it, the texture. Noticing where your breath may be landing in your body, if it lands at all in your body, or if it just kind of moves around a little bit before you exhale. And maybe as you observe your breath, things slow down. They smooth out a little bit. Starting to feel yourself soften towards the ground. And just reminding yourself that this is your practice, this is your time. And so anytime that you need to make an adjustment to make yourself more comfortable, more at ease, do so. Taking a moment here just to start our practice with appreciation for the lineage, for all the teachings that we borrow from. And doing so with respect and with humility. Appreciation for the time that we have, the time that we created, being here on our mats, being here on this land, the people who came before us, and just being here with respect, with humility. And starting with appreciation for your body. May you be with yourself, with your body, with respect and humility. And with your next exhale, try to clear your body out, a little extra effort to the exhale. And then draw a nice big breath in through your nose and hold for a moment at the top of your inhale. Open your mouth, sigh it out as you exhale. And we'll take 2 more just like that. So a nice big but even breath in through your nose. Holding for a moment at the top. And then finding your exhale with a sigh. Last one here, deep breath in. Holding for that moment, feeling full, feeling that little bit of energy, and a big exhale. Good. And at this time, if you'd like to pick an intention, a focus, something that really anchors you to your practice for this evening, this is a great time to kind of bring that forward in your mind. Good. And from there, start to blink your eyes open or refocus your gaze, just taking in your ceiling, bringing yourself back into the space. Good. And slowly start to bend your knees, bringing the soles of your feet to the earth. Beginning to windshield wiper your legs side to side, just slow, finding that pace, dropping your legs left and then right. And if the only part of your leg that's touching the ground is really your foot, that's totally fine. Don't feel pressured to press the inside or outsides of your legs to the earth. And if you'd like, you can connect some breath to the movement, inhaling through center, then exhaling as you drop. Just an option. Good. And after your next round, come back to center. And locate your strap-like object or your strap. And then start to draw your left knee towards your chest or towards your armpit, keeping the knee bent so that you can bring your strap around your left foot. Good. And then from there, start to extend your left leg straight-ish, doesn't need to be fully straight by any means. Good. And taking a moment here to see how this feels, how you can soften, and maybe you take a moment and make your strap a little bit bigger so that you can rest your hands down onto your belly or onto the earth. Because it's a little hard to relax if your arms feel fully extended here. And if you have a big enough strap, you can make a full loop and slide that strap under your back so that you have kind of this tension from your back to your foot without using your arms. Do you think you could show that? Yeah. And so just kind of swimming through the strap, you can bend your knee a little bit to help you get there. And like I said, if this is clunky and feels messy, that's fine because we have time. Good. And you might find this a little more intense. You might find the knee is more bent, and that's okay. We're looking to find a sustainable edge here. Your right leg can stay bent, or you can see how it feels to start to slide that foot straight. It may feel really intense on the front of that thigh, and the leg may not go very far. We're going to spend about a minute here. So find that space that feels like, okay, I can be here. I'm not like freaking out. I'm not at the edge of my boundary, but still feels like sensation. Adjust, readjust. You can allow your eyes to close. Yeah. And if you're holding your strap and your arms are starting to get tired, feel free to rest for a moment, take a few rounds of breath. Maybe come back into it, maybe not. We'll have about 5 more rounds of breath here. Last two. And last one. So if you have the strap bound under your body, you can stay right where you are for a moment. Start to soften, bend your opposite leg, bring it in, and then do the old switcheroo where you draw one leg up, press both feet in, and switch that way. If you're holding the strap, re-bend that right leg, switch sides, coming back in with the right leg extended this time. In. And then again, you kind of play with the posture, find your space here, knowing that each side is going to be different. So maybe this bottom leg extends and the other one didn't, or vice versa. Settle in. Second side's always a little smoother, I think. And then you can allow your eyes to close. And we'll spend roughly a minute here. And if in this opening posture series, you notice your mind is already starting to really wander, to kind of take flight during the stillness of the postures, it could be a really good time to pick a focus. It doesn't have to be a big thing or a grand gesture. It could be your breath. It can be a single word. It could be the music. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath right here. For 2. Last one. Good. And slowly coming out. The strap is bound. You can use your hands to come to the strap, make it a little bit easier. Just bringing that foot down and either extend both legs or bend your knees, whatever feels a little bit better for your lower back. We'll take a minute just right down the middle, kind of recalibrate. And we'll do that after most of our postures. Find something neutralizing. Okay. And if your knees are bent, you can try walking your feet wide to the edges of your mat and dropping your knees in. I find that very supportive for the lower back, especially if you have a bigger curve, a little bit more space between the earth and your lower back. Taking about 5 more rounds of breath here. And if your eyes are closed, start to blink them open. Draw your knees towards your chest or towards your armpits. And you can either hold yourself in a ball or just feel how it feels to kind of draw the knees inwards without using your hands, but just finding a little ball-like shape. And from here, we'll make our way to briefly a seat, let's start there. And so you can either rock and roll up and down your spine or use your hands to help press you up, finding Sukhasana, easy pose, AKA crisscross applesauce. So take a moment, adjust to this new level. You can rock your shoulders, drop your head side to side, just kind of seeing how it feels to be here. And then with an inhale, circle your arms out and bring them overhead. And as you exhale, pull your elbows towards your hips, cactusing your arms wide. Good, 2 more like that. So inhale, arms reach up, find length. Exhale, cactus your arms wide. Good, last one, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, cactus your arms wide. This time as you inhale, gather your hands into heart center, pressing palms together. Exhale, just settle in for a moment. You can gently press your thumbs into your sternum, finding Anjali Mudra. Good, release your hands down. And from here, we'll come into tabletop. So you can either roll forward over your ankles or swing your knees, your legs around, pardon me. Yeah, coming into tabletop, hands about shoulder distance apart, knees about hips distance, and we'll move through a little cat-cow. So as you inhale, belly drops towards the earth, heart pulls through your biceps, tailbone flares up, and exhale, round the spine, press the earth away. Feel like you're hollowing the belly out. Good. So your inhales drop the belly low for a cow pose, and your exhales round your spine, finding space between your shoulder blades for cat. Good. Inhale into cow, really trying to articulate each vertebrae. Exhale into cat, press the ground away. Good. A few rounds on your own. And know you're welcome to add any organic flair that may feel good. So you can circle through your hips, wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your bottom. And about 3 more rounds, roughly. Good. And after your next round, come on back to neutral. And from here, walk your hands slightly to the right side of your mat, just a little bit, making space for your left foot to slide up or slide out outside of your left hand. This is a great time also to grab some blocks, your blocks, put them under your hands to give your heart, your chest, a little bit of a lift so you don't feel like you're collapsing down towards the earth quite as much. And then let your hips move forward towards the top of the mat and a little bit down towards the earth. Good. Take an inhale, lift your heart. Think about cow pose in the spine here. Keep your heart lifted. Exhale, start to straighten into your left leg. Send your hips back. Good. Inhale, move forward. Keep that nice long spine. Exhale, hips back. Left leg gets a little bit straighter. Good. 3 more here with the breath. Good. Last one. Good, coming back forward, maybe flipping your blocks to a higher height. You're gonna tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, and we'll move through that same pulsing sequence with the right knee lifted. Now, if you don't wanna lift your right knee, you will do the same thing we just did with the knee down. So inhale, move forward, lean into that lunge, lift your heart, good. Exhale, hips back, left leg straightens a bit for pyramid pose. 4 more. Inhale forward, runner's lunge. Exhale, hips back, spine stays long. Good. Inhale forward, gaze stays out the whole time. Exhale back. Good. 2 more with the breath. Last round. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower your right knee to the earth. Good. Slide your left foot and knee back under your body. Good. Sit your hips back or sit up, bringing hands off the earth to get off the wrists for a second. So you can either stay kneeling on your heels or you can sit up with your bottom in the air. Extend your arms out in front of you. Make some fists and rev the motorcycle. Take a few breaths here. Wrist care is important. Good. Keep your fists, inner forearms flip towards the sky, and continue that same revving motion. Good. Release your fists, give your hands a little shake, and then interlace your fingers in front of your chest, wave through your arms. This is one of those things, truly, I don't know if it does anything, but I enjoy it every time. And switch. Reverse. I think this is the most important part of it. Like, getting the ability to actually reverse the roller coaster without it completely confusing you. And release, give your hands a little shake, and then we'll come back and do the other side. And so hands come to a level of your blocks, maybe walking them towards the left side of your mat this time, making space for your right foot to step, slide, swing around so it is outside of your right hand. And then hips move forward towards the top of your mat, a little bit towards the earth, really leaning into that lunge, getting into that ankle a bit, and letting the knee, if it feels okay on your knee, go past your ankle. It's fine. Take an inhale, lift your heart. Think about that cow pose. Gaze stays out. Exhale, hips back. Right leg straightens a bit more. Good. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale back, half splits. Good. Inhale, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Exhale back, half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. 2 more with the breath. Last one, inhale. Good. Inhale forward. As you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your left knee. Good. Take an inhale, lean into your lunge. Exhale, hips back. Good. Inhale, lunge. Exhale into pyramid. Good. 3 more with your breath. This is the fastest part of class. Good. Last one. Good. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, left knee down. Slide your right knee and foot back under your body. And you can put your hands onto the earth for a moment. Sit your hips back one more time, or keep your hips up. Extend your arms out in front of you and just circle through your wrists with relaxed fingers, kind of as if you're conducting an orchestra. I know this is not how you actually conduct. It's like playtime when you were a little kid. And then switch the direction of your circles. Good. Beautiful. Grabbing your chair now, or setting yourself up with your chair behind you. And so we want this chair, right behind us. And then we're also going to grab a blanket or a bolster. You may not need it. I think it's helpful to start with it. And so coming onto your knees, bringing your knees towards each other, and then taking your feet a little bit wider, making space for some support between your calves. And like I said, if it doesn't work for you, just take it out. But it's nice to start with support. Some support between your calves. And then from there, sit your bottom down. Good. I think you'll know pretty fast. Are the inside of your knees feeling weird at all? If yes, you may need more support. Lift your booty up a little bit higher. There we go. Blankets are great for that. Blocks are great for that. I also like the blanket with blocks underneath. You're good? Okay, cool. So finding your space here, your knees don't have to be touching or together. It's just a nice place to start and readjust from there. So with the green wizard, his knees are wide. He has a bolster and blocks under his bottom. You can have multiple bolsters. From here, I'm going to put a blanket on the chair just so he has a little bit of support. Grab your elbows with your hands once you find that kneeling seat, either elbows or wrists. Make a frame with your arms over your head, and then start to recline back, lowering yourself towards your chair. And I'm going to just kind of wiggle his back a bit. And so it's helpful to be able to look at someone get into it first and then get yourself into it, laying back onto your chair, onto your couch. And it really doesn't have to be super close to the ground. You could absolutely do this without a chair. It's a posture without a chair. But it's yin. We want support. We want to find some ease. How does your lower back feel here? Okay, cool. So his back feels good. If you're feeling any twinging in your lower back, you can try pressing your hips towards the earth, so lifting them up and then tucking your tailbone under to kind of smooth the lower back as if you were in cow pose, and then laying it back down, finding a little bit more length. We're going to spend about 2 more minutes here, so you have plenty of time to really get into it, see what feels good. looking to find space really across the front of the body. If you're someone who gets cramps, like menstrual cramps, this is such a lovely posture for those. You can let your eyes close. Allowing yourself to soften into the props. And if you need to come out of this a little bit early, you can also do this by sitting on your bottom, crossing your legs, and taking the same upper body shape. You do lose some of that hip flexor stretch, but you're still getting a really nice chest opener, really nice supported back bend here. And we'll take about 1 more minute here. And I will guide you through the getting out of this process because it can be a little funny. And so I'm just going to talk you really briefly through getting out of this. The easiest way, I think, to get out of this is to release your arms and bring them in front of your body, and then use your hands to help press you up out of this. So using your hands on the ground, using your hands on the couch next to you. Good. Coming up and come back to tabletop, and then swing your legs around and sit right onto your bottom. And if you don't have someone moving your props for you, it may be a little less smooth. And so no worries there. Legs will extend out in front of you once you get to the ground. Good. And then we're going to take almost an opposite shape to that. And so we're going to take a supported forward fold here. And I like to support this first by sliding a bolster or some blankets under your knees. And so giving your knees support to start, extending your legs over them. And just, finding a space where you don't feel like that back of your knees have really any pressure on them. From there, give yourself a little prop stack. It can be a pillow, it can be a blanket, just in front of you, kind of in between your legs. And then you're just gonna fold forward. We're trying to give our upper body something to rest onto. So your spine can really round here, your head can drop. And if you have enough props, you can really prop things up until your head can rest onto something. It's why I love practicing in the living room, because there's a million pillows. So soft, round shape here, legs extended, folded at the hips, really balancing what we just did. Arms can hang down down to the ground with the palms up. You can grab your feet, you can grab under your knees and give yourself a squeeze that way. And your feet are just wide enough to make space for your body so your belly can rest down onto something comfortably, whether that be props or your legs. And we'll take just about 2 minutes here. Be comfortable. And the one last nice thing I'll offer is if you are someone with one of those big circle straps, you can wrap this around your body in the same way we did earlier. So under your legs and over your back, and then like strap yourself into the fold. It's a little much for some people as far as just getting into it, but it can be just really wonderful. It can be really lovely if you're willing to go a little prop crazy. And if you're someone with lower back pain, a really supported forward fold like this can be wonderful. We're just taking some of the pressure off and giving yourself some ease at the end of the day. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. One more. And really slowly take your time. Start to come up and out of this fold. Just setting those props to the side, but knowing we will continue to come back to them. So just keeping them kind of in arm's reach. And then take a moment and lay down. Exactly. We will be sitting back up, but it is nice with the bolster under your knees. We'll take about a minute here. So settling, finding that ease. Okay. I'm just starting to think about slowly sitting back up for one last kind of push of yin intensity, if you will. And so sliding that pillow stack, whatever you had out from under your knees, coming into a wide leg position. So legs wide and not so wide you feel like you're being pulled in every direction, and extended. So legs wide and extended. And then take a little moment, rock side to side, pull the flesh out from under your body so you don't feel like you're kind of sitting on your tailbone. You feel like you're sitting more on your sits bones. Good. And from here, we'll just come into a longer held, supported, wide leg forward fold. And so in yin, they call this a pancake, but I know that's like pretty ambitious for most of us. And so just giving yourself lots of ground to come up to you. You can also support your knees here by shoving some blankets underneath. And so basically anything that's floating, is that okay? Mm-hmm. Give it some support. Grabbing more pillows, more props. Oh, lift your head for a sec. Just a little bit more under there. Yeah. And then your hands can rest down at your sides. You can grab your feet. Get you a blanket. A lovely pose for grounding. And if you're someone who is interested in the chakra system, this is a great pose for the root chakra, Muladhara. And again, here, spine can be rounded, We're thinking soft, soft and a little expansive, and always well supported. And if you're lying on one cheek, it's a great time to switch to the other cheek, just to find that balance. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Good. And slowly coming up, sitting upright, sliding those props just off to the side, and grabbing just one blanket or pillow. Good. And with this, just make a little roll, a little ball of it, like a soft block. Yeah, like a little block shape almost. Exactly. And then you're going to slide that in between your knees and give yourself something to squeeze, and then lay down onto your back. And just giving ourselves that support to start with. And we'll come into our supine twists with the support between our knees. And so give that a little squeeze. See if you want a little bit more support. And then draw your knees towards your belly, towards your chest. You don't need to hold them because we're going to drop them to the left. And so keeping your legs stacked, extend your left arm out. Extend your right arm out. Find that kind of long finger to finger shape. And your head can drop towards your right hand if you'd like. Gaze can also stay right towards the sky. And close your eyes. And if you have a lot of space between your right shoulder and the earth, grab a blanket, grab a pillow, and fill that gap. And we'll take about 90 seconds here. And so don't count, I'm counting. Find the ease. Maybe find your intention or your focus. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath. Last breath here. Good. And then either feet on the ground or through the air, just coming through center and placing your feet to the earth once you get there to kind of reset your pelvis, move back to the center of the mat. Just really trying to start from the same place or as a similar place as we can. Good. Taking a few rounds of breath in the middle. And then drawing your knees towards your upper body, Squeeze your blanket just a little bit, get that nice kind of structured stack in the legs, and drop them to the right. Go. Extend your arms out. Trying to find that wingspan here and trying to maintain as much contact as we can from our fingers all the way up the arms, across the upper back, extending out the other arm. And so whether that contact be with the ground or the ground by proxy of blanket or something else, it's all good. You can let your eyes close or your gaze soften. And we'll take about 90 seconds here. About 5 more rounds of breath right here. Good. And slowly coming back to center. Placing your feet on the ground once you arrive there. And you can slide your blanket or pillow out from between your knees. Good. Taking a moment with the knees bent just down the middle, and we'll come into our last two postures. Last posture. We're doing both sides before Shavasana. And so we'll come into Banana Asana, my boo's favorite. And so extend your legs out. And if you don't have overhead space to like reach your arms overhead, you can grab your wrists with your hands or grab your elbows with your hands. But if you do have the overhead space, extend your arms overhead to start. So everything's resting on the ground, arm extended, legs extended. Take a moment here. Okay. And then start to walk your feet towards the right corner of your mat. So starting to find a curve, banana shape, half moon shape. And then you'll walk your hands towards the right corner of the mat. And you can stay just like this. You can also see how it feels to cross your left foot over your right ankle and to grab your left hand with your right wrist. So really kind of just accentuating the intensity of the curve. If you have lower back issues, the foot crossed over the opposite foot may feel aggravating for that. And so if it does, just skip it. And you can let your eyes close. If your right ear drops onto your arm or feels supported by your arm in some way, that's also great. And we'll take about a minute here. About 5 more rounds of breath. Last one. Good. And then slowly, if you're bound anywhere, hands or feet, uncross, release. Walk your hands back, walk your feet back to center. And then take a moment right down the middle. You can even reach through your fingertips, reach through your toes. Enjoying some of that new space, that new energy found in the side of the body. And we'll just come to the other side. So walking your feet towards the left corner of your mat, walking your hands towards the left. And then again, you can see how it feels to cross, or maybe even easier to try to like hook your right foot onto or across your left. And then you can see how it feels to grab your right hand or your right wrist with your left hand. And just breathe into the right side of your body. Breathe into the right side of your rib cage. We can't actually direct the breath there, but we can direct the intention. About 5 more rounds of breath here. Last 2. And 1. And then slowly uncross, release, and make your way back to the middle. One more time, reaching through the fingertips, reaching through your toes. And then softening down, releasing your arms down and finding Shavasana. And a supported Shavasana can always feel good with a bolster under the knees, with a blanket over the feet or over the chest can be really nice. I like a blanket over the feet personally. Just give yourself a little bit of added weight, a little bit of added grounding. Allow your eyes to close or your gaze to soften. And we'll take a little time here to really continue the stillness. Maybe you come back to your intention, focus, your breath. So we'll be here for a few minutes. So if you allow me to continue to hold space, enjoy your Shavasana, I'll bring you out when the time comes. And just starting to deepen your breath. Letting your most intentional movement be the rising and falling of your belly. And using the length of your inhales to kind of reach that fresh energy down to the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes. Your exhales invite a little twitch or a little wiggle. And slowly, if you'd like, if you're ready, to let the movement travel up and into your body. Finding wiggles down the fingers, rolls through the wrists and ankles. Just starting to take up a little more space, kind of energetically at first with the breath. Maybe you make some sounds. And then with your body, starting to reach a little more, to rock through the hips. Maybe you bend things that were straightened or straighten things that were bent. You're just finding that cat in the sun kind of movement. And slowly finding a different shape, a transition. So maybe onto your side, or you draw your knees towards your chest, really anything, a twist. And taking time in the transition. And enjoying maybe 5, maybe 10 rounds of breath in your different shape. And when you're feeling good and ready, of peeling your way up to a comfortable seat. Any seat will do. And either allowing your eyes to stay closed during the journey or closing them once you arrive. Always like a gradual arrival. Hands can rest on your lap or on your thighs. Just feeling the temperature, feeling the space of this level compared to the ground level. I'm not qualifying it, just noticing it. And bring the palms of your hands together, start to rub your hands, create that little bit of friction, a little bit of heat. And bring one hand over the belly, one hand over your chest to hover, slowly draw them in. And maybe you make contact with yourself. Maybe the contact stays energetic. And feeling your heartbeat. Feel your breath move through your body. Take a moment. Thank yourself for making time to come to your mat. Time to practice softness, to practice slowness, and to practice intentional support. A moment to thank your body for accepting that support, for participating in it and with it, and for being wonderful. As always, I encourage you to find as many moments as you can to be in awe of yourself today. You can softly drop your chin towards your chest if that feels good. Thank you all so much for sharing this practice with me, for allowing me to be your teacher. It's truly such a privilege. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a really excellent rest of your evening. Thank you again for coming. And if you have any questions, feel free to hang around and I'll be available to answer them. If not, have a good night and I'll see you in September. Bye. So I always like to just leave like a minute of quiet. If anyone has any questions, thank you, Hannah. I am on the mend. Yeah, but if you have any questions about any of the postures or anything that I have felt weird or funny, feel free to ask. And if not, don't worry. Thank you. Snoop is so relaxed. I'm thanking God. Thanks, everyone. Okay, well, thank you all so much. I hope you have a really good evening. And yes, I will see you next time. September schedule will be up on Monday. So thanks, everyone.